and welcome to Hedgehog Story Time, where I read my weird original fiction. The following story is part of the Edie Valley Project, linked to the playlist in the description below. Yes, you have to read them all. No, that is not a request. Today's story is a little weird. Well, okay, most of my stories are weird, but this one's weird in a different sort of way. This is another character introduction episode, I guess, and I'm sure you can tell who it is based on the title. I felt like she needed a proper introduction, and originally I was gonna write it like I do most of my character introductions. I set up the character, I do a simple scene with a simple plot, and then close it with a slight cliffhanger, but, it just wasn't working. It wasn't working to write it that way. So I ended up trying to write it in free verse instead, and it actually worked out really well. For those of you who don't know what free verse is, it's essentially poetry, but it's free, so, like, there doesn't need to be a rhyme or a rhythm or anything. I mean, there is a rhythm to it, but it doesn't need to be stable or anything like that, so you can do strange things with it. So that being said, there's only so much of the line breaks and the rhythm I can get through with my voice alone, so this is definitely a story that you're going to want to check out the text version, if you so desire. So without further ado, here is the Morrigan, Thanatos, Santa Muerte, the Grim Reaper, etc. She walks among life, at all hours, but it rarely sees her. It doesn't want to. At its core, she is the thing that life fears, above all else. She is there, in the hospitals, and the slums, and the factories, where migrant workers mutilate themselves for the first world's pleasure. She is there also, in the offices, and the mansions, and the private wards, where those with diseases that even all the money in the world cannot cure waste away. She comes for all, in time. Rich man, poor man, beggar, thief, all are equal in her eyes. They all see her differently, when they can see her at all. Only those who have met her once before can see her work, and she is always working. Sometimes she is a woman with tangled, raven black hair, blessed with an accent that drives even the doomed wild. Sometimes she is a skeleton, in a shroud, her bone-white face always grinning as she cuts through souls like wheat. Sometimes she is a loved one, come to welcome the dying to the world beyond. Sometimes she is nothing at all. She envies those few. Or maybe not. Most never see her as she passes through their lives, yet some have come within an inch of meeting her, and the veil is lifted. A sister sees her in a hospital. She becomes a thin, bald woman with sunken cheeks and hollow expression. A man in a uniform and haunted eyes limping from his prosthetics sees her at the airport. She becomes a bomb. A little girl, all pigtails and frills, sees her in passing on the street. She becomes a large, ugly man with his fly unzipped and his breath reeking of alcohol. She hates those times. But sooner or later, all come to her, and the world keeps turning. The seas rise and fall. The earth's crust shifts. Cities and nations grow and flower and fade. Nothing lasts forever. Call her what you will, the Morrigan, Thanatos, Santa Muerte, the Grim Reaper, Hell, Osiris, the End. Most just call her Death. She keeps walking. Something big is coming. It's going to be a long night.